Hello, and welcome to Alcohol Free Radio. I'm your host, Chris Becker, and I'm excited to have you join us. Whether you're new to the amazing and growing alcohol-free community or someone who is already familiar, we hope you enjoy this program. This is where you can hear from some people that we think are making a real difference, whether as brewers or producers of amazing beverages, influencers in the community, authors, storytellers, and I'm sure more. We aim to break it down and bring it all together. Our goal is simple: to build awareness about this great community and help make alcohol-free fun, easy, and tasting great. So here we go. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to Alcohol Free Radio, and I am interested to introduce and excited to get you to listen and see the episode that you're about to hear with Brian Miller. I get to talk to a fellow Connecticut business about Seir Hill, an amazing non-alc and alc-free spirit brand. So hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, it's Chris Becker, Alcohol Free Radio, and here with me this week is Brian Miller from Seir Hill. We get to talk, and I'm looking forward to talking about Brian's journey with the brand and where they're going. And we have some exciting news to talk about at the end. But first things first, welcome, Brian.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming. So yeah, I know you and I have known each other or been involved, maybe similar starting points and not too far away as things turned out over the years. But really have had a chance to kind of engage a lot more frequently and a lot more intensely over the last few months. So for everybody, I'd love for you to just tell us your background. How did you get into the category, and what did you do before this?
Sure. Well, again, thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
super excited to be here. I have enjoyed our collaboration over the years, so it's exciting to get to tell the Seir Hill story here in this forum. I'm actually a creative professional. I was a creative director for 20 years, and I'll spare you the boring details, but in 2014, I started an agency with my partner, Ian Smith. It was an agency called MillerSmith, and we were the agency of record for Crown Royal. So we worked with Diageo on several of their liquor brands, but Crown Royal was our primary focus. Yep. And because of that relationship, as well as some other relationships that we had, we were a target for acquisition. So our agency was bought by a larger agency. And as part of that sale of that company, I received a non-compete covenant in the contract, and that caused me to get out of the business of graphic design, which I was fine with. I was very grateful for the company that acquired us and wanted to honor that. So that gave me the opportunity to explore some new ideas. And with my experience in the beverage industry on the creative side, as well as an incredibly talented wife who does marketing and has launched a number of products, I had the courage to start Seir Hill, and that's how it all started. Really, another road at the crossroads was finding an alcohol-free life for myself. Yep. And I've gone totally alcohol-free. And so this outlet was a way for me to take on this newfound sobriety as a passion and build it in a business.
Was it something that, as you were working with the agency and going through that exit, were there multiple ideas and businesses that were percolating in the back of your mind, or was this one really, the one that was standing apart?
It was certainly one that was standing apart. There were a couple of ideas, but this one certainly seemed to have, it was closest to my heart. Sure. Is what I would say. I wanted to find something that I could do to help people like me. Now, I'm not talking about people who want to get sober. Sure. But people who just simply want to cut down on a Tuesday night, or even drink less on a Friday night. Right. And, you talked about the start of your business. I started in 2020, and within 2 months of starting the business, we were hit with a pandemic, which was actually very fortuitous because I felt like the whole world slowed down. And that gave us the opportunity to work on our formula and not feel this pressure to get in market, because it was challenging to get into market.
Sure.
So we really focused on developing the formula to a point where we loved it. And our first product was Mashville, which is our non-alcoholic whiskey.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time developing that formula while the whole world was dealing with COVID. So the timing of it was very fortuitous.
Okay. So yeah, with kind of going through that transition, you've exited the agency, you've got the design background, you've picked your business, you know your first product, or you're actually in development, which I want to come back to in terms of the actual,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the beverages themselves, the whiskey and beyond. But before that, kind of pivoting off your graphic and agency experience, the name, the brand, the story. Can you talk a bit about like that, both the story itself, but how you came up with it?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because it truly is near and dear to my heart. So the name comes from the street we live on. We live on Seir Hill Road,
Okay.
and this is our family home. This is a barn that was built in 1744 in Wilton, Connecticut. Before the country was a country, this was a barn standing here, and this is all the original wood, which is pretty cool. So there's a certain magic that we feel here in the home, and so I wanted to have that be part of the brand story.
Right.
And then also my father is very much part of the story here. He was a farmer back in the 30s. His parents were divorced, and neither one of them could afford to raise him. So what they would do is they would send him to farms around Connecticut, and he would work for room and board and go to school. So he'd get up at 4 a.m, do his farming chores, and then go to school and come home and do farming. And he did that through his grade school years. And it was a big part of who he was. He actually had a cousin who had a farm, and right up until he was elderly, he would work on this farm. So I wanted that to be part of the story, and so we donate a portion of our proceeds to the American Farmland Trust to help preserve America's farmland. It's very important to us, and so that's the whole story. And then I keep going back to this. The formulation of the whiskey was intended to honor all of the flavors of Connecticut.
Okay.
So when you try Mashville, you'll taste sweet corn, tobacco, red apple, charred oak, all of the crops that are natural to Connecticut and what Connecticut is known for are compiled as flavor notes within our product. So that's how it all came to be.
Okay. And I think it's good for our listeners, many of whom aren't from Connecticut, that there are actual historical elements, including flavor notes and farm elements and food. It's not just a state somewhere between Boston and New York. So it's great to hear that kind of story getting filled out, especially with all of the alc-free and non-alc businesses that are, all in this area. It's kind of an epicenter. So that's great to hear and great to see, and, a great celebration of kind of the innovation that's happening. From that, so started with the Mashville, started with the whiskey. Take us from that point forward, that journey. And then, I know that you've expanded quite a bit beyond that. So, how did that go? And how much of that was your own kind of understanding or interest path, or people that you were working with as you came up with the whiskey? And how much of that was engaging with the customers in the marketplace?
It was guided primarily in the beginning by my instincts, as well as some connections that I had in the industry, primarily because no one knew what non-alcoholic spirits were. So they didn't even really know what they wanted in a non-alcoholic spirit. At the time in 2020, it was really a blank slate. There were very few brands on the market. Seedlip was available, but beyond that, there was all of the brands were very young, like Seir Hill. So we started taking pre-orders in July of that month. And at the time, Facebook was a little more amenable to
Yes.
targeting. So we had some tremendous success with pre-orders, and it was one of those exciting moments like, oh my God, people are pre-ordering this.
Yeah.
They can't even get it tomorrow, which is what we all wanted, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
They can't get it tomorrow, and they're giving me their money, and they're not going to get it until September. So that was really exciting. And I continue to go back to our sales graph and see the little bump of pre-orders, and it still gives me a thrill. So we started shipping in September of 2020. I went through our first sober October and then our first dry January, and our sales were very strong, and it was exciting to us, but we kept bumping into this problem of, and you hear this on Shark Tank occasionally, are you a product or are you a company?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of big retailers won't take you if all you have is one SKU. So in some ways that forced our hand, but we're very, very lucky that it did. We developed a rum and a tequila to accompany and to complement our whiskey. And our rum has quickly taken over as our lead product. I'm very proud of all three, but our rum has won the gold medal in the LA Spirits Awards 4 years in a row.
Amazing.
So we're super excited about that. The consumer response to it has been amazing.
Okay.
And people are constantly finding new and innovative ways to use it. For example, I just got a review the other day. The guy loves it on vanilla ice cream. And he makes vanilla milkshakes with it. So it's not just for making a daiquiri or a dark and stormy. It's a very versatile recipe ingredient. So we launched about a year and a half after we launched Seir Hill. We launched our rum and our tequila, and they have been doing very, very well. So we have a line of three spirits in our portfolio.
Amazing. So some of that is your own direction. Some of that is the marketplace, and whether it's the accounts themselves or the consumers. With that in mind, kind of where are you at now from a product standpoint? Where do you see the future in terms of either projects that are kind of happening today, or what's on your roadmap?
So a couple things. One is we're continuing to grow our spirits business, and one way we've innovated to do that is we've enlisted an influencer by the name of Christine Wayne, super dynamic lady. She goes by On the Mocks. I'm sure your listeners have heard of her. She's all over the place, and she's very, very sweet to engage with.
Right. Yeah.
We had been working with her to help spread the word about Seir Hill, and she gave us some very high praise for our rum. So we decided to do a Christine Wayne signature edition of our rum.
Okay.
And she is, she talks about how she's a heart attack survivor. I say it that way because I'm not revealing any confidence.
Right.
And so we donate the proceeds to that particular product to the American Heart Association in honor of her.
Okay.
It's a limited edition product, and it's been extremely well received. I have it here. So we've just changed the color band. We gave her own signature, and so that's one way in which we're growing our spirits business is personalizing the label and personalizing the experience.
Very exciting.
And then we're right on the start line of it, but we've developed a line of ready to drink mocktails.
Okay.
And we've taken a slower approach to it. We didn't want to just throw something out there. The challenge with these, they're definitely in demand, and we're very, very excited about them. I don't want to say the problem, but the benefit of our traditional spirits, our spirit line, is you can make the dark and stormy taste exactly the way you want to make it, for example. So if you like a little more ginger beer or a little more rum or a little more lime juice, however you want to mix your mocktail is completely up to you when you buy our base spirits.
Yeah.
When we develop a dark and stormy in a can, that's pretty much how it's going to be. And maybe you'll add a little lime to it. So we wanted to do proper testing. We wanted to make sure we were as proud of our ready to drink products as we are of our spirits.
Sure.
So we've taken our time with it. We're ready to launch those, and we're excited to have you as a partner to help us do that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So we're about to come out with our line of ready to drink mocktails.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know from our own experience with the marketplace, part of our business, there's a lot of people who are very interested in having a cocktail experience, but don't necessarily want to become mixologists. And, it's a challenge enough to make a normal cocktail. But if you mess it up, if you're drinking, at least you get the alcohol is usually one of the comments. But, the non-alc cocktail or mocktail, it has to stand purely on its own merits in terms of flavor. There's no other payload that people can kind of discount to if it's not up to snuff. So that makes that a challenge even harder. And some people lean into that during the pandemic. Bar tool, home sales, home cooking equipment also all went through the roof. But some people just want to have a drink that tastes good and it doesn't have alcohol in it. So the RTDs, even more than the alc category, I think lends itself because of the arts, the craftsmanship you need to make a really good non-alc cocktail experience. And a lot of people, I know from my own experience, you try it the first time and there's little hacks. You should really use 3-to-1 if you're using the non-alc, because you really need that flavor payload to be there with that in the absence of alcohol, and you just don't know that. So I think the RTDs are exciting, along with the great pedigree of the full formats that you have.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, tell us a bit about the RTD flavors, what and how they tie back to the whiskey, the tequila, and the rum.
Yeah, so the one I'm really excited about is a dark and stormy, and that seems to be the favorite mocktail that people have from our rum. So it's a combination of ginger beer, which gives it a little bit of a bite. Very intentionally when we formulated our product, we didn't go after the heat for two reasons. Number one, when you mix it in a mocktail, you lose the heat anyways, because you have the other ingredients masking it. And it inevitably, when you try to achieve heat either through peppercorn or capsaicin or some artificial means, you're impacting the flavor to such a great degree that you really end up with nothing. You end up with sort of something that's in the middle. So we went all in on the flavor profiles, and I'm still very, very proud of that decision because I think it has served us well.
Yeah.
So when you mix our rum with a little bit of ginger beer, about 50-50, and then a splash of lime, you get an absolutely delicious dark and stormy, and it has that bite from the ginger, which really makes it a savory mocktail.
Great.
So that is one canned mocktail that we have. The other one is a margarita, and the interesting thing about that, so that's fresh lime juice, our tequila, but we have really almost an infinite opportunity to extend from there, whether it's a watermelon, spicy, you name the margarita, we can make that even seasonally. So we're very excited about not only the base product, but the extensibility of that line.
Okay.
And those are the two we're going to be rolling out with.
Great. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into some more and wrap things up. Hey there, this is Chris Becker. I wanted to spend a minute and tell you a bit about our Better Without mobile app. We talk a bit about it on the show, but it's really a great resource for people that want to learn and find out where they can try and experience all the great beverages that are coming into the space of better for you beverages, particularly non-alc and alcohol-free. This includes beer, wine. You can search by different categories, sparkling, RTDs. find out descriptions, photography, calories, everything you want to know, and best of all, where to buy it based on your location, or you can search different places and find out all the different restaurants and stores where you can find the different products that you love, or go online, obviously, to betterroads.com, but also other sites that we share links to let you know where you can get different products. So it's really anything that's out there in the space. It gives you one resource to learn and educate and test and try. It allows you to share. So whether you like a location that has some really good beverages that maybe others who are experimenting with drinking less or whatever want to learn about, you can share it right off the app. You can share products right off the app to all your friends and any channel you want. So I really encourage you to check it out. It's betterwithout.app, or if you go to betterroads.com, you'll see in our community a place to learn more about the app and download it. It's free, and give it a try. We hope you like it. Thanks. Okay, we're back. Thank you, Brian. So exciting things about the spirit business, leaning into the RTDs, which we know is there, and with the tequila, the rum, and the whiskey, you've got a lot of places to go with those dark format spirits and lots of interesting things. What's next? Where do you see things happening? Like, where have you seen some of the traction? And then I'm excited to tell everybody about what we're going to be doing together.
Well, for us, we continue to be excited by two particular channels. One is the on-premise. I continue to see bartenders, restaurants posting really interesting drinks and concoctions using our spirits, which I love to see. So continuing to focus on the on-premise area for us is really important, because, as you said, not everyone is a mixologist at home, but when it's in the right hands, it's magic. So we're excited about that. We're also really excited about the grocery channel. We've had a number of opportunities pop up in the grocery channel, and liquor stores can be challenging only because people tend to know what they want out of a liquor store. There's not a lot of exploration that goes on there.
That's right.
Yeah, liquor. Yeah, and they know where it is on the shelf, and they go in and they get it, and they're out in a very short period of time. Whereas the grocery experience is much more exploratory and about discovering possibly new things. So we continue to grow in the grocery category. We're in a number of ShopRite locations in the Maryland area, and that has been terrific for us. So that's where we see the biggest opportunity and we see the biggest expansion.
Great. And kind of alluding to, and as we wrap up, one of the things that we talked about or alluded to at the beginning, as most people know, and we're most known for our marketplace, Better Roads, as the logo suggests, is a premium beverage company. And we've been, for the past few years, building out a line of wines, which we will continue to expand with additional labels and some RTDs, more in the light spirit category. The Sir James, so the Wander and Found line for wines, and more to come. Sir James light spirit backed RTDs, more in the gin and tonic, Aperol Spritz, Mojito lineup. So, to the extent that we've been working together in different capacities over the last while, and having conversations, we're excited to announce that Seir Hill is going to become part of the Better Roads family of beverages as well, really rounding out all of the dark spirit and the full formatted spirit category. And we're excited to have Brian joining us as really our product innovation lead, and tapping into that brand experience from your agency side, and how we've seen it applied to Seir Hill. So we're very excited to bring Seir Hill into the lineup of the products that we offer online and through all wholesale channels. So super excited about that. More to come. Brian, I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
You've said it all. I mean, I'm thrilled. I've worked with you since the day your doors opened, since the day my doors opened. So we know each other very well, and I've always admired your mission and watched your growth. And I'm thrilled to have Seir Hill be part of the Better Roads family. I think we're going to do some great things.
Likewise. So for everybody listening, we'll be following up with a lot more information on that. And we're going to be doing a lot of fun curated boxes and getting the Seir Hill family of products, getting those RTDs and beyond into the family and the lineup, and really putting all our weight behind getting our full solution of all of the brands. And we're very excited for Seir Hill to join. So thank you for that. And Brian, welcome to the team. Thank you for the time. And before I forget, my son has been here listening. It's a Saturday, or it's a Friday actually, but I've got my kids. So come on over here. We'll put you in. You want to say hi to everyone on the podcast?
Hi.
Brian and Colin got a chance to talk a bit earlier. So thanks for waiting, buddy. Okay. So Brian, thank you for the time. Thank you for joining the team. Thank you for what you've brought to the category, and thank you for Seir Hill, and look forward to talking more soon.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks so much.
Same here. Take care. Bye. Take care, everybody.
Right.
Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Alcohol Free Radio. We welcome any suggestions or ideas for this podcast and other content that we share with the Better Roads community. So please reach out to us on social media, on our site at betterroads.com, or via email at hello@betterroads.com. And it's been great to be with you here all together. Take care.